ASEAN really must fix 5 things before the next crisis hits. Am I sounding sensational? No. The recent clashes between Thailand and Cambodia reveals how fragile peace really is in Southeast Asia. So in this video, let me walk through those 5 fixes. My name is Dr. Ilango Karuppannan, former Malaysian ambassador, over 30 years of experience, and I spent a great deal of time in sitting in ASEAN summits and many meetings. So many of what I am saying comes from my own observations. Fix number 1, ASEAN definitely needs to create a faster emergency response mechanism. Many smart people out there, particularly those who have not done any work on ASEAN, claim that ASEAN's consensus model is a problem, that this model slows decision making and this is what makes ASEAN ineffective. I disagree. Over the years, ASEAN has accorded the chair a great deal of flexibility. The chair is actually free to voice out concerns on behalf of the organization, even without fully consulting all the members. And this is, I think, what you saw when Malaysia stepped out very quickly in the first few days after the conflict, offering to mediate between Thailand and Cambodia. Eventually, Malaysia was able to host the ceasefire talks, and now it is hosting the General Border Committee talks in Kuala Lumpur from 4th to 7th of August. But I want you to remember one thing. This is a response of one particular country, in this case Malaysia, which also happens to be the chair of ASEAN. It is not a response that came from ASEAN as an institution. We may not always have countries with sufficient resources like Malaysia to deal with crisis. As an institution, ASEAN must have a faster response pathway to deal with crisis. It has toyed with the ideas of the Friends of the Chair, for example. It has, I think, in the past also looked at ideas like the Coalition of the Willing. I think these are all ideas that needs to be dusted and put back on the table to see that something effective can be created, something that can respond quickly in the event a crisis like this breaks out. Fix number 2, ASEAN needs to update its non-interference response. The non-interference principle is also something that many people feel is stopping ASEAN from acting quickly. I also have to disagree with them because ASEAN has not been idle all along. It has also had its own internal thinking about what non-interference really means. And over the years, the general understanding is that non-interference does not apply to situations where grave crimes are committed against humanity, for example. So far as I know, issues of border skirmishes like the one that we have seen, ASEAN has not yet had an internal discussion on this matter. And I think this is where the discussion must take place. ASEAN needs to be clear that when conflicts such as this arises, non-interference should not stand in the way of providing a response. Fix number 3, ASEAN must establish an effective ceasefire monitoring and verification system. ASEAN does not have standing observer teams or military hotlines or further still joint patrols. The talks which are going on in KL, I think they might be addressing some of these issues. If not, I hope they do. And I think this is an opportune time to look at establishing at least military hotlines or some sort of protocol on how to deal with conflicts when they arise, and also protocols on how to deal with when ceasefires are announced. Fix number 4, I think it is time for ASEAN to create some sort of an ASEAN peacekeeping mechanism. I know this is a very, very high bar, but it is not impossible. And let me explain why. Individually, ASEAN members have participated in UN peacekeeping operations in various parts of the world. Malaysia, for example, has participated in well over a dozen such missions around the world. Indonesia has more experience than that. Thailand, Singapore, even Cambodia have participated in such experiences. Question is, why don't we put these experiences to work? I want to bring one example to show that what I'm saying is not entirely impossible. You see, when I was serving as ambassador of Malaysia in Lebanon in 2010 to 2014, I realized that there were 4 ASEAN countries which had troops serving under the UNIFIL. Indonesia, of course, had the largest presence, its battalion, followed by Malaysia with close to about 900 soldiers, and then there was Cambodia with a smaller presence. And we also interestingly had Brunei, which had troops embedded inside the Malaysian battalion. It was an interesting situation. It was actually an ASEAN peacekeeping force on the ground, except that we did not call it so. There was no political will among ASEAN members to call ourselves that. The commander of the Malaysian battalion at that time is someone who is playing a key role in the ceasefire and the General Border Committee talks which are taking place in Kuala Lumpur today. Why am I saying this? It is because ASEAN has the operational experience, it has the leadership experience, diplomatic experience naturally. It is now time to put it all together. We need political will. If the name ASEAN Peacekeeping Force too difficult to contemplate, we can call it something else. We can call it an observer team, a rapid response group, a stabilization mechanism, anything. Something that can do the job of keeping the peace. Fix number 5, ASEAN must reclaim centrality through quick and decisive action. Fix number 5, ASEAN never tires of talking about its centrality. In every document this term appears. But what happened in this conflict? President Donald Trump claimed credit that it was his effort to talk to the Thai and Cambodian prime ministers that resulted in the ceasefire. And US and China are both going to be observers in these talks which are taking place right now in Kuala Lumpur. So, is ASEAN centrality really at work? What I see is a red flag. The recent incidents showed that when ASEAN does not act, external powers will fill the vacuum. And if ASEAN depends on external powers to resolve its internal conflicts, well, it loses credibility. ASEAN centrality must be earned, not simply declared, which means ASEAN must act quickly and decisively. And the 5 fixes that I've just described, I think goes a long way in helping ASEAN achieve just that. There is no doubt at all that ASEAN has been a success story. As I have said, it has kept the peace in the region for over half a century. So it has done well, but it has also had its own share of problems. Luckily, it was able to step up quickly in this particular instance to push to the ceasefire and now to work to see that it holds. But remember, not something that emerged out of the institution. So ASEAN needs to reform itself politically, structurally, so that when the next crisis hits, it is able to react quickly and forcefully rather than to sit helplessly waiting for external help. If you liked this video, I urge you to watch several other videos which I had posted recently about ASEAN and Trump's visit to Southeast Asia. These are highly interesting. I urge you to watch them and comment on them, and of course, naturally, hit the like button and subscribe and share them too. Thank you very much.